Good night, Ogata. Misa Blogger interest was the state of origin game between the New South Wales Blues and the Queensland Maroons. Tasomila Tok Legal Owners and the Parliament Lotete. As we all know, the VONC was found to be technically deficient by the Speaker because it didn't meet one of the 5 requirements. The 5 requirements are those requirements that the Supreme Court spelled out in a 2016 case, Polya versus Juranok, where issues where the Parliament Committee and private members' business, or we'd say parliamentary committee in short, used to, as a tendency to frustrate VONC motions, because obviously in most cases the parliamentary committee consists of members of the ruling party. So VONC is usually a motion against the government, so you could expect some partiality in that. So as a result, a number of motions were frustrated by the parliamentary committee, and the matter ended up in court, and the court made it very clear, the Supreme Court, the highest court of the land, made it very clear that the Parliament's attempt through the committee to frustrate VONC's is unconstitutional and is unfair because it's a matter of national importance, and it should precede all other agendas of the day, especially when the Parliament is seized with a VONC, and the parliamentary committee concerned should meet and deliberate on the VONC so that it can be put up on the next business day as soon as possible. That was the comment from the Supreme Court. So there is no need for public funds to be exhausted in engaging lawyers for the matter to be again to be submitted to the courts for the court's determination, because the issue was already made clear, and the Parliament said the VONC and the Section 145 of the Constitution is a constitutional process. Although stringent process set out on the Standing Orders 22, 130, 131, and 132 combined reading as to what should happen, the steps by which the VONC should be entertained. What was made very clear was that the requirements, the 5 requirements of Toklam, Supreme Court, all yet Supreme Court set him down through the constitutional provision, Section 145. So today one play issue may come up, and me also one play member of Parliament, Maso Hewabi. His name probably, his given name came first, and his surname came last or something, where Speaker was saying that name shouldn't be like that. Well, it should have come in the way, and the opposition was arguing that, well, that's the name that is in the writ. Now, that became a point based on which the parliamentary committee rejected the VONC as technically deficient. In my view, such names, for example, my name Emmanuel Isaac, Isaac, and sometimes a lot of people make mistakes. Some can spell it I-S-A-C-K, or sometimes it's I-S as AC, but actually it's I-S-double-A-C. But plantis are making mistake. So in sittings like Parliament, if I go in and I'm only Emmanuel Isaac there, if there's a grammatical error there, then the common sense dictates that that person is me. It's a typo error. So what happened is Maso Hewabi, or Hewabi Maso, is a member, and there is no 2 persons by that name. That's the only person there. So in my view, the parliamentary committee shouldn't be very technical. I'm not saying that because I support the VONC or that I'm against the government. I support the government. I support the VONC. I believe that everybody has the same interest of the country, that despite of the politics that is at play, we serve overall a same country, but there are alternatives. The one wants to serve in the other way, the other wants to serve in the alternative way. So there is no question about them having the interest of the nation at heart. But here I'm concerned about the future. We have to set precedents for the future generations to follow. And if we take one step, the future generation will take 10 steps from the one step, and the next generation after that will take 100 and so forth. So precedents must be cautiously set. So in this instance, if the parliamentary committee is partial in its determination and takes, in very sidetracked in peripheral issues, especially when the identity of the person is very clear, but you're talking about small typo error or names being arranged upside down. I believe it, I mean, common sense. It has to be understood that law devoid of common sense will produce injustice. As a lawyer, I mean, this is something that I believe in. Law must go hand in hand with common sense. Even if the interpretation of the law doesn't work in your favor, you'll agree if the decision rendered by a court goes hand in hand with logic, even if it doesn't give you the orders that you seek. So in this instance, common sense dictates that that person, that's the name that appears on the writ, and that is a person. It's easily identifiable because, country in 20 million lines from blah, blah, faula. I think so. I think parliamentary standing orders need to be amended, or something. The members of the standing committees do not need to make it become a stumbling block to a VONC. VONC is a constitutional process. It should not be frustrated by peripheral technical issues or something like that that is not of any significance. For example, if totally different names stop or one plus signature no stop, or I'm all good plug grounds, blah blah, understand, but some naming typo error about na kaya no some legal something. A big plus something is the thing is there. If somebody's looking for me and I'm there, then what does it matter if my spelling, is a minor spelling error of my name? Instead of E, there is I in there, Emmanuel, that would be understandable. Also, that was a me just really think blomichol. I think in the long run, there needs to be an act of parliament so that it doesn't become a standing order. Act of parliament that should make provision to make sure that the parliamentary committee is impartial. Members should include perhaps the opposition leader and so that they should have equal vote, and probably a outside person, perhaps a judge, should be the fifth, and then they should decide on things like this, so that the process can take its course instead of unnecessary politics at play in very important processes. That is part of the constitution, our constitutional processes. Enjoy watching game. Sorry lo bagara mi blah lo lilik. I mean, bagara mood blah, but as I said, not supporting anybody. Just was a fair comment that me can make him lo Islam.